Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Snyder, and for my expert video, I chose hand washing the dishes. So this is something that I've gotten very, very good at over the past couple years because as soon as my husband and I got married, we moved into an apartment that unfortunately did not have a dishwasher, and then even our first house that we're in now did not have a dishwasher up until about a month ago. So through a lot of trial and error, I've come up with a pretty systematic way of washing the dishes, not only to save time, but also to save water and just save some of those resources a little bit to get all the dishes washed very, very effectively, but again, quickly while conserving the resources that we have. So at the apartment, we had a sink that had two different sides to it. So we were able to rinse and wash each in a different compartment. But here you can see the sink has just the one single basin. So what I had to do was kind of modify the way I did dishes, which I believe it's gotten a lot more efficient than when I did it at the apartment. But what I do here is I wash, or not wash, but rinse all of the dishes very, very thoroughly first, just to get off any food particles and get any liquids out, like coffee, whatever it may be. So as I'm washing, I'm not dirtying the dishwasher water more than I have to. So everything is rinsed pretty completely. And then after that, I fill up the sink with the soap and water, as you can see here, and start washing the dishes. So as you can see, as I'm washing them, I'm just stacking them up in the sink. I'm not rinsing them as I go. And so the reason for that is I can clean everything and then kind of just move it to different parts in the sink. That way I'm not rinsing them constantly and then also adding more water to the sink, because here I'm just using all the same water, all the same soap. Since the dishes are relatively clean when I do start washing them, they're not really getting dirty at all as I do this. So from here you can see it went really quickly, but after I get all of those dishes washed, then I rinse them and I stack them here in this wonderful dish rack that we have. And I have a pretty systematic way of doing that. You can see the bowls are all lined up first, and then I have all the cups in there too. And I've gotten very good at arranging things so the most items can fit on that dish rack at once. So after I rinsed all of those, because I wasn't rinsing as I go, there's not a ton of water that's been added to the sink. So I still have good, fairly clean dishwater and soap that I use. So next I move on to smaller items like utensils, serving spoons, whatever it may be that I used to cook with. And occasionally I may add a little bit more water or soap, but I wash all of those individually. And notice too, what I've been doing is when I grab them, I start washing them and then I place them in the sink really once they're clean. That way I can keep track and I'm not trying to sort through, which ones I've cleaned already or not. I stack everything that's dirty on this side here and then I start washing them and leave them in the sink once they're clean. So as I wash those, same process, leave them in the sink. And then after that, I'll rinse those items and place them on the dish rack in a pretty systematic way. We have a utensil holder on there. After that, what I can do is, again, after I rinse those dishes, there's still not a ton of water in the sink. So I try and, use that as efficiently as I can. And you can see it's still pretty clean. So after that, what I do is I can do the larger items that will still fit with all of the water that's in there. And I did add a little bit more soap to it too. So I begin washing those, still putting them off to the side if I can to not add more water. And then after those two things were washed, then I'll rinse them, stack them on the dish rack, and then I'm going back to this really gross cheesy pan that I put off to the side at first because I knew it would get my water really, really dirty. Fun fact, this pan was from the original video I was planning on making on how to make mac and cheese, but the video clips weren't coming together nicely. But this really cheesy pan, I noticed it was just going to get everything dirty and gross. So I soaked it for a while, and then here I'm just washing it. I'm not bothering to fill up the whole sink. So again, just trying to be scarce with how I'm using those resources, and then rinsing that separately and then putting it off to the side to dry.